I'm currently working on a creator-owned series with Image Comics. Written by Warren Ellis and coloured by Jody Belair, and it's like an ongoing series for the next few years called Injection. I should have said that first, I guess. We were working away on Moon Knight and I was quite happy, but I was offered a creator-owned series which was very appealing, but I'd been at Marvel for a long time. I didn't really want to jeopardise that. I was told originally he was going to do 6 issues and that would be it. So I just double checked with him and said, are you definitely just going to do 6? Because if you're doing more, I'll stay, but if not, I might do this creator-owned series, maybe. And he said, why don't you let me write something for you and we'll take it to Image. So I said, sure, okay. I was never going to get a better offer than that. And it's even more interesting because sometimes writers will send me pitches that I might be interested in, which is great, but what Warren did was specifically write something for me, so it couldn't be anybody else. Whatever we're making is designed for this team, so that's extra exciting, you know. He asked me to write he called it a shopping list, so basically everything that I was interested in. So I wrote down books and comics, TV shows, films, and he took that and sent me the idea. I was like, it's not like I said. As for example, Deadwood was a television show mentioned. There's no cowboys in Injection, but I think it's the tone or the atmosphere or the sense of storytelling was something we both had in common. So really, whatever he comes up with, I know it's something he has thought about for me, which again is really exciting, but also very challenging. It's hard to say because when you're making something, you're so close to it. It's very hard to step back and really tell. The perception is there's some books who I think are doing amazingly well, like Southern Bastards and Deadly Class, but I mean I don't really know if they are. There's just a really good buzz about them, and I can't objectively tell if there is about our book. But the reviews have been really, really good, and any friends I have, any other artists whose opinion I trust, they all seem to be they seem to quite like it and are interested by it. So I don't really care about story points. The only things I would really like to know are some story points. So for storytelling reasons, design reasons, it's basically design things, you know, like if a character's, you know, what they'll be wearing, will they need to change costume? It's very kind of if you was on film, it would be like a costume designer kind of concerns. But as regards story points, I do not care. If he gives me a script, I don't just start drawing. I have to think about it and work things out, and it's that kind of process of developing the storytelling is what is interesting to me, not so much like if a character dies in issue 3 or anything like that. I'm sure if I pushed to find out, he would tell me, but I'm actually happy with the way the collaboration is, so I just get the scripts and I concentrate on that script and try and make the best single issue I can. I find that in the general consciousness, the public consciousness or fan consciousness, people are much more interested in the writers when comics is a visual medium. I think that's kind of unusual. I understand various reasons why it does happen, but it's not a problem I have that writers get attention for the work that they do. I find that generally it's that they're shelved above the artists as co-authors. In my opinion, comics are either a writer and artist who makes all the work, or a writer working in collaboration with an artist, and that is collaboration. Both are the authors, not one. And it is a perception that seems to be from what I can see, it seems to be going more and more towards right. I feel that at the very least, if I see that happening, I'm just going to call it out. If a film is made based on a comic and they just credit the writer, I'm like, no, it's by two people. I think it is, and again, it's nothing against writers, but I feel that the role of the artist is being devolved further and further and further. And if a movie comes out based on a comic, I think both should get credit, because the writer might get opportunities from that, but the artist rarely does, and I think that is unbalanced. A comic does not exist unless it is drawn. You were asking questions about what happens with injection, and I told you I'm not concerned with that, but unless I'm involved with the creating of the story, there is no story, and the ideas have no platform in which to be communicated. So again, it's not a case where I think artists should be up here. I just think that it should be right here, and I think it's like this right now. I think Image Comics is the best way, really, because and it's nothing against the companies, but the mainstream companies like Marvel and whatnot, but I was talking to somebody about Avengers and what Hickman is doing in Avengers, and I understand why he says that, because there's like 7 artists have worked on that book in the last 2 years, so you'll name the one consistent name, which I can understand, but I don't want to watch a movie that changes director halfway through or 7 times through. That's not what I'm interested in. I personally like to read more pure versions of work, like Dark Knight Returns, or all the Watchmen. All the best examples of comics are things that are more pure, so no fill-in artists or anything like that. And those companies they have a certain remit they need to fill, so I understand that. But with Image Comics, it is just down to the creators when the book is done. And like, for example, there's no fill-in artists on East of West or on Deadly Class or on Southern Bastards. They're all more pure bodies of work. So I feel that the more successful those types of projects are, the better represented artists will be. Yeah, everything at Marvel has been 3 issues, 4 issues, 5, 6 issues being the longest. So this is slightly more ambitious. I can do a monthly book easily, but Injection is a series that takes an awful lot more time. So, but the way the certain kind of scheduled Image works is if you can be monthly for 5 months, then take a break, and then be monthly for the next 5 months. As long as your schedule is consistent, I think readers are fine. They'll wait for a couple of months between issue arcs, as long as your issues come out when they say they'll come out. But that's the plan, is to do 10 issues a year for 2.5 years and wrap it up then. It shifts sometimes. I don't listen to music that much. I used to always listen to music, but if there's lyrics, I find it distracting. So I listen to a lot of more instrumental stuff like Mogwai, really atmospheric work, stuff that will put me in a headspace. I listen to a lot of current affairs now, not because I'm interested in current affairs, but because it's so boring. It stops me from being distracted by the internet. It'll just make sure I don't do anything, because you can get very distracted with Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. I used to listen to a lot of podcasts, and I stopped and I've started again, or try to listen to documentaries, things I don't have to watch, or I will replay TV series that I like. I listen to The Wire a lot, because I've seen it and I know it really well, and I can play 5 seasons worth and get through an issue really, really fast. So I have certain series that I can go back to, and Sopranos, 6 Feet Under, Deadwood. I have to have seen it first, otherwise I'll be drawing and looking at it and not getting work done. A lot of comics. I read a lot of Marvel, a lot of Image, not so much DC, except Batman. I read Batman. I read his Marvel, Moon Knight, Daredevil's one of my favorite series. I was reading Thor, kind of fell behind. A lot of those new series like Howard the Duck and Squirrel Girl, all the books that kind of have their own little self-contained universe is kind of what I read. I don't really read the big crossovers or the big tentpole series. Just the ones that I can read. I don't need to worry about crossovers. At Image, I'm reading Deadly Class, Black Science, Stray Bullets, Fatale, Southern Bastards, Shelter that just finished. I'm reading a lot of books, more and more Image books, I think. Turn into a comic book character. Which is the sexiest character of all? I don't know. I don't know if I like the question, just because there's so many characters that I read are basically white male power fantasies. If I'm being Batman, I was just want to be cool, but like, I want my parents to be dead. It's also kind of self-pitying. If I wanted to be Daredevil, I'd want to be blind. Like, I don't know.
You can be a supervillain. You can be Rocket Raccoon. You can be.
That's true. Yeah. I like to be Groot. Yeah, just hang out. Nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about anyway. So.